Hi, and welcome back to Lismer Studios. Today we have a really nice project to do. We are going to be learning about landscapes, and we're going to be making a collage with old wrapping paper that you could grab from around the house and also with other things, okay? We're also going to be looking at a painting by an artist called Lismer. He used to make beautiful landscape paintings, and we're going to be looking at that. So let's begin and let's look at today's materials. Okay, so here are the materials that we're going to be using. We're going to be using a glue stick because we're going to be gluing. We are going to be using scissors, little if you need little, or bigger. I use bigger scissors for me. We're going to be using yarn also, and we are going to be using wrapping paper. Any wrapping paper that you have from around your house is good. You could just get it, and we're going to be using that, okay? And also, you are going to be using, did I say yarn? Yes, yarn. A color of yarn that looks like the actual wrapping paper, because we're going to try to match the colors, so it's really nice, and I'll explain that to you in a second. And paper, you're going to need one cardboard that is the same color as your wrapping paper. I'm going to be using this one today, so that's why I took this cardboard, so it's the same color as it is on the wrapping paper. And I also took yarn of the same color as the wrapping paper, and you'll see how that works later on, okay? And I also took another piece of paper, like these are pieces of paper that I had from another project, so I took them because in the next session we are going to be using these, but just look for them and keep them handy, okay? So let's begin. So today the first thing that we're going to do is look at this beautiful painting by Lismer. It's called Isles of Space, and it's a really nice painting because in it we see that in the foreground, which is what is closer to you in the painting, there are some big trees, okay? And that is what a landscape is about. That things in the foreground closer to you look bigger. For example, this tree that I made here, it's bigger, and the grass is bigger, it's larger. We see it larger because it's closer, okay? Then in his middle ground, we see middle-sized trees, more or less a little bit smaller than the big ones in the front, and that's what I just did right here in this hill that I put here with a smaller tree and also smaller grass. All right, and the background is what we could barely see. We see very small trees, very small. Well, the grass is almost invisible, okay, but things in the background are smaller, and that's what we want to practice today with this project, okay? We want to make the foreground, the middle ground, and the background, so you could practice space and distance and perspective, okay? Things in the front are bigger, things in the back are smaller, and they get smaller as they go to the back, okay? The first thing that you need to do is take your paper, your wrapping paper, and cut it into pieces. So this, your teacher is probably going to do it at school, okay? Or you could do it at home and take it already cut to school, all right? But you're going to take a piece of that wrapping paper. So I cut these out already previously. I'm going to leave them here, and I'm just going to take one, okay? I cut it more or less the size of the cardboard paper, or the paper that I'm going to use, the color paper. And as you see, I matched the color, the blue, so then when I finish my landscape, it looks nicer. For example, in this one here, what I did was I took the light blue, it was light blue on the wrapping paper, and I took a light blue cardboard to use for the other hills that I made, okay? So the colors unite, and everything, the whole design looks nicer like that, okay, when you unite colors. So here is a brighter blue, and I took a brighter blue. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cut out the hills. I'm going to turn the paper around, and I'm just going to draw some hills. You might not see it on the top camera, but I am going to do it with a marker so you can see it, okay? So this is what you do. You draw some hills, okay? and then you draw a couple more hills, maybe like this, okay? And that's what you're going to be cutting out, okay? So you take your scissors and you cut this out, and you're gonna see how it comes out, okay? Okay, so now I have finished cutting my hills. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them right here, okay? I'm gonna put the paper right here, and I am going to cut one hill right on this paper. You're gonna see why in just a second, okay? I'm gonna take my marker so you could see it, okay? And I am just going to draw some lines here, and I am going to cut those lines. Yes, I'm cutting the paper, and it's okay, don't worry guys. So I am cutting right here at the bottom, okay? So I've got this paper here. I'm gonna take this hills, the one that have a double hills, and I'm gonna put them right here, and look what I'm gonna do. Look at the effect, okay? I am going to put the blue paper right on top of it, okay? See the effect? And then I'm gonna take the hills that have the bottom square right here, okay? So now I've got hills and more hills in the back. And this is the way that I am going to cut it, okay? And then I am going to glue it. So I take this off, okay? And I go ahead and glue the first one on. So let's begin. Okay, now I'm gonna take the blue paper and I'm gonna glue it on top of these without leaving any holes at the bottom, okay? So let's do it. Okay, and now I am going to put the third set of hills, which would be the foreground. I am going to glue that on. And here we go. So now I've got my foreground, middle ground, and background, okay? And this is an abstract landscape, so it doesn't really matter what color your wrapping paper is or what color you're making the landscape, all right? I think it's gorgeous. So let's go to the next step, and the next step is going to be making the trees that go on the landscape just like this. So let's begin doing that, all right? Let's do it. Okay, so now the next step, after we made the foreground, the middle ground, and the background, is making the trees to show the distance from you to the background, to the middle ground, and to the foreground. So I'm going to show you how to make the trees. I'm going to take this green paper that I had already shown you at the beginning, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the trunks, the tree trunks. And the trunks have got to be a thick one, half of this size, and then a very thin one. Okay, so now I've got these three thicknesses, okay? So there's a thick tree, a medium thickness tree, and then a thin tree. And how is that gonna go? Well, the one in the front is going to be the really thick one, okay? So I'm going to glue that one right here, okay? I'm going to glue it around here. I'm going to put this up like that and glue it right here, okay? Very good. Now I am going to take the medium size tree trunk, and I am going to cut a little piece at the top. Why? Because it needs to be a little bit smaller in the middle ground, okay? And I'm gonna put it, I think, right here. It's good. Yeah, why not? Right here in the middle. And that's a good place to put it. There we go. That's my tree trunk. And now I'm gonna take the thin tree, which will be in the back, and I'm gonna make it, see, I measure it to this one here, and I cut a little bit more, so I am able to put it in the background, and it looks smaller. See, it looks big in the foreground, medium in the middle ground, okay, and smaller in the background. So let's see. Okay, so now I have foreground, middle ground, and background trees, okay? And what I'm going to do is write my name on this piece of artwork, leave it for the next session, and we are going to be finishing it up in the next session, all right? Because we've done a lot today. So in the next session, you're gonna need also, remember, your green paper, so keep this handy. You're gonna need your extra wrapping paper, okay, so put this away, don't throw it away, all right? You're gonna need your picture, you're gonna need your glue stick, your scissors, and your marker also, or your pencil, all right? So let's review today's work. Today, we started by looking at a collage that I did, which I showed the foreground, the middle ground, and the background, okay? In this, we see that the sizes go smaller in size as they go to the background, all right? And we are going to do something like this. In the next session, we're gonna finish it, okay? And you're gonna see how it works, okay? We have also looked at a famous artist. His name was Author Lismer, and he did very beautiful landscapes, all right? And in this landscapes, we see the same things: foreground, middle ground, and background, okay? So keep your work, be good this week, and I'll see you next week to finish this project. Have a good one. Bye bye, guys.